Lovely touch from him though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance, McDoherty! Oh, you shite! There could be
From the dead to the
don't fuck it up now, don't fuck it up! Go and win it!
Let's go
Last chance! Stephen Berghvall! Stephen Berghvall's through! Win it, Stephen! Come on! Yes! He's won it! He's gonna win it! Oh my God! Oh my God! We did it! Yo, check that out. How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It is Wednesday. It is the biggest game of Tottenham's careers and lives eve. I hope you are all happy and healthy, doing the things that you love on this bright and early 10:47 a.m. UK time. I hope you can do me some favors, guys. Smash that like button for me if you've got a thumb or a finger, however you're watching it. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got those same, opposable dexterity things going on. Hit the notification bell. Drop some comments throughout the show. Today is there's a few bits of news out. One of them is just a wild take. And listening to the video that comes from a guy who's got some legit history behind him in Keith Winus, ex-Aston Villa, ex-CEO of Aston Villa, of Everton, and of Aberdeen. That sort of thing comes with credibility, right? And he's on the Give Me Sport website. The one, Give Me Sport, of course, up there with Caught Offside in the realms of competition for Bugsy Malone's exclusives that she puts out on her OnlyFans account. But these guys bang out exclusives galore. Very little of them come to mask. And I don't really know why these guys have that kind of tier 2 journalistic integrity. Maybe it's because they go out and get some sort of names. But some of the stuff that you're hearing, and this is one of them. I titled the video, Tottenham NBA franchise coming to Spurs. And this is what we're dealing with. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? People, it is a madness. I mean, I don't know. There's nobody else that's mentioned it. I literally think it was a throwaway question that the interviewer asked Keith Winus. And Keith Winus said, yeah, it's definitely going to be Tottenham all over, isn't it? If it happens, Tottenham is certainly there. There's definitely going to be meetings happening in the background. And it's a massive opportunity. European basketball is huge in Europe, funnily enough. And it could be like an NBA second division. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, could you be any more ignorant about how basketball works? A European second division, Division 2 of the NBA comes to Europe when they have a draft system and the college system. I don't think you know what you're talking about. But on top of that, the guy just makes things up. I swear they just make things up and then whack it out as exclusives. It is a bonkers scenario, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it as we go through the show. On top of that, right, this is also what you have to pay attention. I always tell you this, guys. Pay attention to what you're hearing. Pay attention to who's saying it. What are the motivations? Is there credibility? Is there agendas? Is there education-based? Is it fact-based? Are the sources double verified? Are the sources just close to the club? What are we doing here, right? Now, as a content creator that's looking for things to roll out to you people, because we love to just talk about transfers, then I'll lean into anything sometimes, right? I'm shameless with the depths of which I will scrape the barrel to put out a video. And this is kind of what I'm doing today, I guess, right? With regards to the NBA thing. But there's other stories as well which are worth going through. But Keith Winus is the ex-CEO of Everton, Villa, and Aberdeen, right? So if anybody should know a little bit about running a football club and should be listenable, trustworthy listenership, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, then you would say that there's credibility there. But he said in the same video, and I can't show it to you, but I'll put the link in the description. He said in the same video that Tottenham have got a 42% wage to turnover ratio, which we do. And he said it's outrageously low. It's so low. It's incredible, which relative to other teams it might be. But then he said, don't forget that the threshold is 70%. So they've got, 28% wiggle room on that number to get to where it could be. So they should at least be at 50%. Now, you could make the argument that there's enough wiggle room to get up to 50%, but I don't think he knows the rules. Because I think he's conflating 42% and the 70% threshold, which is only relevant to UEFA qualified teams at the moment. He thinks that 70% doesn't include amortized transfer spend, agents' fees, capitalized expenses, those sorts of things. He thinks that the wage ratio is all that there is in that number. That's all I can infer from what he said. And I'm like, what are we doing here? That's not accurate. That's not even remotely true. And you're supposed to be credible because of your CEO historical track record. I'm going, am I living on planet Mars? What's going on, people? What is going on? Spurs are going to sign LeBron James as a striker. I actually wonder whether or not, if you were to get an ex-basketball player who's 7 foot tall and just tell him to hang around the box and just lump the ball in, and all he spent was a year of his life training to head the ball, how's someone going to be able to compete with that? How is someone going to be able to compete with LeBron James running like Dan Burns does from outside the box? If he could just learn how to just get his noggin on it, right? I mean, these guys are beasts, aren't they? They're beasts. Some of them. Anyway, I just wanted to start off with a kind of a scratch in my head. I wanted to get my oscillations ready because it's too early in the morning. I haven't gargled yet. So if I go, what are we doing here? It's for a reason. I'm trying to get my oscillation. Anyway, guys, let's find out who's in the chat. We've got some other things to talk about as well. Aussie Ange Hater. Big up, Shawnee. Big up, Aussie Ange Hater. Good to see you, mate. Melbourneite. Love the shows. Big up from Townsville. Townsville. Tottenham in the tropics. Where is Townsville? Let's have a look. Is that Townsville in Australia? In North Australia, isn't it? Northeastern Queensland. Yeah, I've been there. I have been there, believe it or not. Lovely place. Lovely place. It's a place in the world where the animals have got a fighting chance. Most of the time in the UK, if you're going to come up against an animal, you're probably not going to have too much of a worry. Not so much in Australia, in certain places. Troublesome. I remember once I bought, just quickly, I was staying in Australia in my mate's house. After I'd left Australia and went to America, I flew back over to go and catch up with some mates. And I was staying in my mate's guest house, outhouse. And they had a toilet that was outside, for me, rather than going back through the house. And it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was busting for a wee. So I'm walking through their garden. It was pitch black and I had my phone light on. And I'm like, I can't see anything. And then it was coming over near the shed and there was some just overhanging branches and things. And I turn on my light at the best moment or the worst moment, because about 2 inches in front of my face, there was a giant spider web, and this mother of all spiders was there. And as I'm going where's my light? Where's my light? What's going on? Absolutely terrible. Apparently it was harmless, but I don't know. Harmless probably just means it won't kill you, but it will leave a nasty bite. But yeah, I decided to tie a knot in it and went scuttle back into my room and cried for mummy. Morning, Sean, says Steve. Good to see you, mate. Big up to Sean in the room. What's happening? Tom Martin, we should chat, like and subscribe. You know what you got to do. Like and subscribe, people. Daniel Fields in the house saying, LOL. Good to see you, mate. Makes me feel old seeing all the legends who fought for the badge on the shirt, not the wage. Yeah, I feel a little bit like a bit of a shameless man putting myself on that video with all those legends, and then me couldn't even, shake properly before I returned to the stream that day. Hashtag piss stains for years. Big up from Melbourne. Big up. Morning, Daniel. Love the intro. Appreciate you. LB3. Morning all Levy out. If Ange wins the Europa, I want to see a statue of him in Park Lane Square. Yeah. Statues are a small thing, aren't they? Small thing. Be big in small things, Daniel. You'd be surprised how many people you could win over by making that pricingly insignificant thing. And I think there's massively like tight, small, but still real byproduct benefits in terms of fans that come to the arena, that come to the stadium for non-Tottenham things that might be curious and go, who's that guy? And what's that, Dad? And they go, well, I don't know, son. Let's go and find out on their Google. And they came for Beyonce, but they stayed because of Bill Nick or Big Ange Postecoglou. Can you imagine? It's interesting, though, isn't it? Right? Because I think the Tottenham fans will universally agree that Bill Nick was like the godfather of the football club, if you like. But if Ange Postecoglou wins this trophy, that's what I've said it. I'm not going to hark on about it today, but if he does win this trophy, I think he has to go down as the most successful manager statistically in 45 years in terms of trophies. But that doesn't mean he's the best manager. And given the animosity that is aimed towards him, primarily in the YouTube space or in the online space, I think there's a massive difference between online world and real world. But at the same time, his relationship with fans is not good. He's had arguments with so many. I think the players are sort of also feeling that vibe. I've said it before. I think that there's this us versus them culture that's emerging here. And I feel like the fans sometimes in the eyes of the players and the club are seen as them. We're not part of the us, we're part of the them. And it's a really, really, really sad state of affairs. I don't think that's consistent with everything and everyone around the club, but certainly there's echoes of it that are seeping into the narrative. And I don't really like it. Polly's in the house. Look, let's go, boys. Sensible heads, calm demeanors, and playing for the badge with fans doing the right thing. Love that, Polly. Is that a dog in your... Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, he's a cutie pie. El Dante. Welcome to Spurs Talk Show, the best onion stream. The best onion stream? For all your Spurs-related content. What's an onion stream? Welcome to all those that are new to the channel. Appreciate you, El Dante. Hope you're all well. And yes, of course, I had to say it. Appreciate that. It's not what an onion stream is. Morning, champ. Morning, Roysy. Crikeys, it's early. Sean has shit the bed on my day off. Well, maybe you never know. Just had breakfast and I had eggs. So, you know, certain things can happen. Polly Cooper, I want to see a statue of Sean and Bugsy Malone at the Spurs Stadium. Bugsy, she can get up there. Most famous Tottenham dog, I'd imagine, in the game. If she walked down the high road, she'd get more selfie requests than Richie, I think, driving down. I saw Richie driving past us. It was amazing. Right? On Thursday night, it was 6 o'clock, 2 hours before the game. They're just closing the road, and Richie drives down in his Lambo, I think it was. Or I'm pretty sure it was a Lambo. And I'm like, well, that's obviously just him rocking up by himself, miserable because he's not playing. And then he's on the starting 11. And I was like, what are you doing? Only turning up 2 hours before. Where's your pre-match ritual? What's going on? If he doesn't win it, sack him at full time and he can get the ferry on his shoes back to the UK. Oh, on his own. I don't know, he's back to the UK. Get the ferry on his own. Football last, says George. Football last. Anything with profits first. I'm not giving this story any credit at all about the NBA. I'd be amazed, right? But also, like, if there was an NBA stadium, right? If there was an NBA franchise in Europe, it wouldn't be in a football stadium, would it? Like, even in America, they don't have football stadiums where they play basketball. They have basketball arenas, like the Crypto.com arena in the old LA Lakers. What was it called before? The Convention Center. Like, that's not a football stadium. That's a basketball arena. I think basketball and ice hockey sometimes can be like a double usage. But yeah, football stadium for NBA, come on now. It's so bad. It's such a bad story. I actually can't even believe it's out there. But then again, from the geezer that said that 42% is so low compared to 70% limits. You're missing out on all of the transfer spend, of which, guys, £279 million of transfer debt is the reason why Stefan Borson is crying that we'll be crying poor this summer. If we've it's true that we have got £280 million of transfer debt, but like the scheduled structural payments on that, they could be out for 5 years, right? Like some of that's due next year, but not all of it is. I'm almost certain. If it is, then that's problematic. And if that's the case, then where has the money gone in the previous years? If we've been taking the debt, and when I say debt, I mean just like the owings to the clubs. But bearing in mind, we also have a lot of money owed to us for certain players. Then it's not how it seems. It's not what it's represented as. This is the difference between stats and facts, right? There's context, there's texture to the detail. And if you just look at the number, if you just read the top number, which is what journalists love to do to create stories, then you're left with a sense of, I don't know, an unnervy feeling around our financial security being in massive jeopardy. And it just isn't. It can't be. It can't be. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm not going to buy it, and you shouldn't either. Don't let them suck you into this nonsense. The devil's in the detail. Or in this case, maybe the angel is in the detail, because the angel is good news. And I think that Tottenham have, I think it's a narrative. I really do, and it pisses me off because it is goes in the con column of Daniel Levy if this is the story that's coming out, right? And I think that is something that I will obviously completely hold the candle to his feet for. It was interesting last night. I was on the Spurs Danalist channel. Really nice guy, Danny, invited me on, and as soon as I got on there, I see Nige from Pure Koi. Shout out to him, and shout out to both of them. Really lovely people. I didn't really know who was going to be on. I saw a message, but I wasn't sure who was confirmed or whatever. And then I see in the chat the links to the creators' channels, and there's at Tottenham Away, at obviously at Pure Coys, at Spurs Danalist, at Spurs Talk Show, and at Tottenham on Tour. And I was like, what's going on here? What am I walking into? And it wasn't obviously Stella. It was a lad called Maz. Maz was his name. And I didn't, I'm not really that familiar with him. I think I've probably seen him once or twice, but didn't really know of his takes. But obviously, if he's a Tottenham away guy, then I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be, probably a heated discussion. And it started out like most of the conversation was a 3-hour show. Most of the conversation was about Levy. And obviously, all 5 of those guys, Nige, Dan, 4 of those guys. Was it 4 or 5? Nige, Dan, Brian, Maz, and myself. I don't think, was there another person? No, I don't think so. I think that was it. They're all Levy outers, right? They're all Levy outers. So obviously it was largely like, me against the world sort of thing, as usual. It's fine. And it started out a little bit kind of like hostile-ish. I think there was a little bit of like awkward, not awkward, just frank exchange of views. But then it loosened up, and there was so much more that we agreed on, all of us, than we disagreed on. And even the things that we disagreed on, it was just fundamental kind of viewpoints around how long should a project be given, what is the difference between success and failure, and do you want to include the buck stops at the top, essentially was the narrative. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was really healthy conversation. It was nice to kind of to not have a screaming match. Like obviously I've been guilty in the past of getting stuck into very vocal, very interrupty and kind of shouting matches with passionate people like Lubo, for example. Had them with Sava before. Not always about Levy, but about other things. And they're not always great. Like when you reflect on them afterwards, you kind of go like, you're better than doing it that way. But it's usually because I've had a few drinks and then the stresses of whatever's else is going on. And if the other side is argumentative as well, then it can be quite spicy, right? Because I'm more than happy to get into the weeds and get gloves off sort of thing. But last night, I'd encourage you to go and watch it. And if you haven't, I'd encourage you to go and subscribe. You should subscribe to every channel, by the way. Because you never know what, first of all, I know what it was like when I was starting out, and it was difficult to get eyeballs on your channel, and you get more confident as you go along, and you hopefully get more polished and all that stuff. But every channel is worth listening to, because if you spend as much time as you guys clearly do, and we all do in YouTube, like invested in Tottenham, then it's always nice to show your support for creators, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. If you only ever want to watch content of from people that say the things that you feel, then I don't know. I find that's echo chamberish, and it kind of limits your perspectives. Everyone should be open minded to hear other perspectives. Doesn't mean you have to agree, but as long as they can offer good quality content, and I think that, like I say, Pure Spurs, Pure Coys, Nige, and the Danalist certainly do that. And obviously Brian Daigle, I know you guys know him; he's brilliant. And Maz, I didn't realise he was like a full-time part of Tottenham Away, but you should absolutely go and subscribe. So he put together some strong arguments, right? Really strong arguments. And like I say, it just comes down to how you interpret and how you focus on and prioritize, what's important to you guys. I personally feel like there are people in the community or in life in general that, basically always think the grass is greener elsewhere, and that things could be so much easier and better if there was just, it's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. But then they think of me as someone that, deprioritizes certain things or maybe has too much tolerance for what they consider to be abject failure. And like I say, I know that I'm in the minority in for the most part when it comes to the perspective on Daniel Levy. Not that I'm the opposite to people that want him gone, because I don't care if he stays or goes. I just want what's best for Tottenham. And for me, what I found interesting, I forgot to bring it up yesterday on their show, because I wanted to we played a game on this channel, right? We played a game where I said, I think it was it with Johnny and Lubo the other day? I think it was. We said we'll do the ones and zeros game, right? We'll do are you Levy in or Levy out on principle? And it was ones and zeros, and I think everyone was Levy out on the basis of that's it. That's the binary option. And it was maybe 90 to 10 towards Levy out from you guys. And then we played a second game, which was given that you don't know what you're going to get with the out version, you don't know what Levy out is not the solution, right? Someone else in is the solution. Levy out might be a stepping stone towards it in some people's eyes, but the solution has to be someone else to come in. And if you think that the job of CEO or chairman or whatever is necessary, which of course it is, then you have to, look at what's next. And when we played the game of not knowing what you're going to get, would you prefer to roll the dice on the unknown, or would you rather a scenario where Daniel Levy was still involved at the club, but just contractually obliged, almost like conditions of Paretici's employment and Vinny's employment, that for a period of say 2 to 3 years, his job is to hand over the money, the conditions of the budget being you have £120 million net, you have this many years worth of contract to do. These are the repayments that we already owe. This is what we are already owed, i.e. bring in another accountant that can help Paratici with the understanding of that logistic, but that essentially the firing, the hiring, the sacking, the selling, the buying, all of that stuff, and the way that it looks, the structure of it, all of those things are handled by someone else, and that Daniel Levy essentially is not allowed to get involved in transfer policy. Would you rather that, or would you rather him just out the way? And then it was like an interesting swing. It became 80-20 in favour of Levy to stay, but to be completely distanced contractually, so that he can't just change his mind. Now, obviously, that stuff is unrealistic, right? Because the guy's the owner. He's the CEO of the football club, the chairman. He's one of the largest shareholders, and so it's like asking turkeys to vote for Christmas, right? He's not going to do that. Because he doesn't trust anyone. But in an ideal world, if you could in a realistic world, if you could have some sort of grey area in between the two, then I think that would be very beneficial. The other idea that we sort of broached very briefly last night was another kind of middle ground that could appease the fans a little bit, and also could get Daniel Levy what he wants, and also Joe Lewis, right? So Lewis clearly wants out. He himself has lost interest. He's obviously getting old, very old. He's legal issues, whatever, and he's handed over to the family trust, all of that stuff. We don't know what his family's intentions are with Tottenham. Do they care about Tottenham? I know Johnny. It'd be nice if Johnny was here, actually. But that sort of ability to know what the daughter, I think it is, and the son have with regards to Tottenham. That would be interesting to know what that looks like. And on top of that, with Daniel Levy not being independently wealthy, he's wealthy on paper, but he's all that's caught up in the club. Then it becomes a situation where you're kind of saying, well, is there another way that you can get your money, right? You want the £500 million for whatever you need for the projects on the field, off the field. You're struggling to get one, maybe. I believe there's things going on in the background, but we don't know if it's Qatar. We don't know if it's America. Those things are all unknowns. And the biggest problem from a Tottenham fan's perspective is that Daniel Levy has the shares, right? So he, obviously, as the owner, can basically tell us all to go F ourselves if he wants to, because, as I said last night, I don't think that protests ever lead to direct results where the owner lowers the asking price as a consequence of the fan pressure. They'll wait for their price. They might just distance themselves. They might lose interest or whatever. They might do what Mike Ashley did, which is essentially run a super tight ship, but that, until they get their asking price, they're not going to go anywhere. And long story short, I wonder whether or not there is an option and an angle here where, given the fact that the valuation is as it is what it is, if Daniel Levy really believes in free market principles and really believes that the club is valued at his level is the right level, but he can't find someone to bite, then there is the option to relist the market on the stock exchange. And that way you don't need one person to raise £500 million. You don't need one person to agree to your valuation. You can trust your numbers. If you're the brilliant businessman that you are, Daniel, which I think you are, you can figure out your own valuation, go to a broker like Goldman Sachs or whoever, and do an IPO again, right? That gives the 30,000 shareholders that currently have shares an option to get out at a market valuation that is deemed by the free market, right? So a lot of shareholders don't want to be involved anymore, but don't necessarily agree with the pricing mechanisms of which Daniel Levy would buy the shares off them. At the moment, they're getting diluted every time Daniel Levy goes and puts £30 million into the raising new share capital, or the £100 million that happened before. They all got diluted at a valuation that was determined by the club, not by the free market. Now, for what it's worth, the valuation was far higher than, I think it was at £7.5 billion, by the way I calculated it, even though it's for a minority stake. And there was a lot of shenanigans around why you did that, right? It really scratched my head, because the only reason why you would do that inflated market valuation thing for small share issues is in order to be able to fool the next investor, the next seed funding investor, to think that the last valuation was at £7.5 billion, so that's what the valuation of the club is. That happens in micro companies, fledgling companies in tech. Doesn't happen in multi-billion-pound companies that are already established and that don't really have new markets to move into with unknown ceilings. So yeah, I'm sort of rambling here a little bit, but in essence, what I'm saying is maybe what's good for the goose is good for the gander, in as much as the Tottenham fans, if they wanted to, can buy themselves, can dilute the ownership of Daniel Levy or ENIC, right? If they want out, if they want their valuation, the free market is the best way of doing that. Let the market determine what the price is. I don't know why we're not doing it. The only downside to it is that there's fees involved in the process, which of course gets taken out in the short term from the operating and the cash flow. It certainly provides cash flow immediately if that's the problem, right? If the problem at Tottenham is cash flow issues, then a share issue onto an IPO is a wonderful way to raise cash, and it's immediate. The only negative side of it is that you would start to see dividends being taken out, right? And so if you don't like Daniel Levy's salary, then, or his bonuses, then you might get pissed off with him getting dividends, which is what the Glazers were doing. But ultimately, again, you can participate in that by buying shares. So if you really have faith in the football club, then you can kill 2-3 Spurs with one stone by diluting the owners, their percentage. Then they are answerable to a board of directors. Then they're answerable to the shareholders as well. So there's a little bit less ability to just kind of do this to criticism. And I think Daniel Levy gets his money. He gets to realise some of his valuation that right now is caught up. I don't know. To me, it's like, there's a lot of upside for all parties in that conversation. It's not perfect. Shareholder market listed stock market things. There's awkward. Like you have to disclose more information. You can be less kind of secretive, if you like, than around what's going on than you can do with the current model. But ultimately, if Daniel Levy is struggling to get his £500 million that he needs from somewhere because he's valuing the club too high, well, put your money where your mouth is, Daniel. Like, let's see if the market thinks the club is as valuable as you do. And if you're wrong about that, then you need to look in the mirror and go, there's a rule in business which is called leave some for the next guy. If you are valuing your product at this, which is basically perfection plus 10%, then where's the motivation for anyone to come in? Because they're paying for perfection. It's the equivalent of maybe what we did with Archie Gray. It's the equivalent of what Brighton wanted for Evan Ferguson, £100 million for a player that, and there were people that were thinking about doing that, right? And then look what happened to Evan Ferguson. Like, where is he now? He's nowhere near the player. I know he's got injured, but he certainly was never worth £100 million. But this is what people do in business. They think potential equals reality and that perfection should be priced in, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You need to leave some for the next guy so that everyone can feel like they're winning. And again, Daniel Levy's natural negotiation style is zero sum, in my opinion, right? Where he thinks that when I'm negotiating for a player, someone has to win and someone has to lose. And it becomes tiresome and exhausting, I'd imagine, dealing with him. Where eventually people just kind of go, oh, you know what, just leave me alone. I can't be bothered. I'm not dealing with that geezer ever again. And that's problematic. Again, the byproduct benefits or the byproduct deficiencies, the byproduct negatives of having certain that kind of solo focus, that zoomed in mindset where you're explaining one thing or you're focusing on one thing, but you're not realizing that when you do that, then this and this all are going to get impacted as well. And in the case of like when Ange Postecoglou says, injuries weren't my fault, we barely train anymore. There you go. Got away with that one. How are you going to answer that? That's my excuse for that. Thank you very much. It's who we are, mate. Well, in so doing that, people that are paying attention can go, well, hang about. If that's the case, then why are we changing strategies if you're not preparing them for it? But people don't think about that. You need to have joined up thinking before you speak, right? Like, because if you say one thing, it might mean that something else you said makes no sense or something else you've done. Police are very good at trapping people in that regard, right? To be careful. Anyway, Daniel Levy's zero-sum negotiation style essentially burns bridges. It means that, can we get, if not that I want him, but if you wanted Jack Grealish in the summer, well, does Manchester City want to deal? Does Pep Guardiola want to help out Tottenham? Do a favour? Get him off their books? No, he's going to say, you. I wanted Harry Kane and you refused to deal with me. You're a donut. You want Jack Grealish? Go swim. Go fish. Whatever the phrase is. Anyway, where do we get to in the chat? I've got some things to talk about today, guys. Big Ange, she's 5 for 8. Noosa. What did I say? Who said Noosa? Big up from Amsterdam, Remco. Good to see you, mates. How's that red light district doing? How's that red light district? But Ange's not good enough. Townsville is too bloody hot. Great show. Thank you, mate. Big up, Dean. Yeah, I've got my Uber's coming at 3:55 a.m. tonight. So, surely, boys, this is kind of part of the reason why I'm doing this early. I've been up since 5 a.m. trying to get myself acclimated, because it's always 5 p.m. somewhere. Glug. Need to get myself ready for a big day. Henry Wright's telling me, Sean, listen, you know what, Henry? I love Henry. I love him to pieces, right? Because the bravado that comes out of his mouth. Mate. The second that I get into Luton Airport, right, I'm going through customs, yeah? I'm going straight to Wetherspoons. I'm ordering 6 pints and a fry-up. And I'm going to be on that ratio all day, Butler. Okay, Henry. Okay. What time? Let me have a play ones and zeros game with you. Will Henry be asleep, drunk, by lunchtime? No, by 4 p.m. in a local pub in Bodo. One for yes or earlier because he's an absolute lightweight walking into a heavyweight boxing event. 0 for no, Shawnee, you don't know. Henry can put this stuff away. Let me know what your thoughts are. 1's for Henry's got no chance. 0's for no, Henry's going to go toe to toe with you, Butler. Let's find out. Look at the 1s are flying in. Poor old Henry. He's got no idea. He's got no idea what he's walking into. Jesus Christ. I got put on a drip once. They put in ethanol just to keep me going. An ethanol drip. Line them up, Fieldy. Line them up. He will 100% be asleep before the match, probably half asleep in a plate of chips as you're showing the local ladies. He's going to be my intro. Ladies, have you got a bed for my mate Henry? Actually, he can stay there, but we can go. Come on, let's go have a look. Let's go see what we're working with over here. Hello, Helga. Guys, let's move on. Anyway, we've got the NBA story, right? Nonsense. We've got ratios spoken of by a CEO of Everton. Maybe that's part of the reason why Everton are in so much financial trouble. They don't know the difference between wage to turnover and squad cost. Crazy. Henry drunk TV. Yep. Just my opinion, but that sounds bad. Yeah. Yeah. You will line them up and they will knock him down 100%. I wonder what's the local bit? Is there like a local, is it vodka? I know Finland's vodka, but Finland's closer to Russia, isn't it? So what's the alcoholic delicacy in Norway, people? Let me know. Fieldy, you're a Swede, aren't you, mate? You got something Scandi in you, I believe. Not that I should put everybody in the Scandinavian bucket together, but is there like a Scandinavian drink that I need to be getting involved with? Let me know. Don't forget that them Vikings know how to drink. Yeah, I'm not taking on. Well, I'll take on the girls. I'm not taking on the boys. They're too big, aren't they? 6'6". You know, long schlong. It's not a single zero. Not a single zero. Henry, one of our reputations precedes us. Either mine or yours, mate. We shall find out. Norwegian Aquavit. Oh, Roy, yeah, you're a Viking, aren't you? Literally in the name. Norwegian Aquavit. What is that? So we'll see. Norwegian Aquavit. Oh, God, what is that? Let's have a look. Share this screen instead. What are we doing here? There we go. Scandi Kitchen. That looks... it looks like a bottle of vodka that someone's put a cigarette that they've smoked in and then left it overnight. And like the tobacco's turned it that kind of nasty pale colour. And you look, when you wake up the next day, you look at it and you wowzers. Invert the ting. What's he saying? Fermented fish juice. Wowzers. I've heard you're taking more rubber than an F1 pit stop. I'm only winding you guys up. I'm not really like that. I just like to put on a show, put on a facade. Probably stronger than beer. Looking forward to the joint stream between you two guys. Yeah, I don't know if we can do. I'm gonna see if we can find a way to do one from before the game to go live. I'm gonna see if I can take I'm not sure I'm gonna take my laptop. But it'd be fun. Blimey, Sean, you ain't in Bodo yet. That camera has fully took up the TV screen. What camera? What? What was I doing? Like this. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, let's get back to Tottenham, shall we? Let's find out what we're doing here. Where's the rest of the stories? So the story today, guys, is Liam Delap is head front and center. Let me get this guy's stats up. FB refs, Liam Delap Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What do you think about Liam Delap, guys? In terms of output, it doesn't look fantastic, but you got a bit the context, right? The texture here. Who's he doing it for? Where's he doing it? I mean, it really doesn't look like he's great. Apart from he's in the 91st percentile for shot creating actions as a take on, which gives you the idea that if he's a take on guy, maybe he's what you need to play off the left hand side. Maybe you could go and sign Liam Delap and play him on the left. He's got bags of pace for a big guy. He's a huge, big, strong lad. He's got take-on special speed. He attacked us all day long down the left. He's wonderful in the air. He's an absolute monster. He gets fouls galore, right? So if he's getting fouled, you could then use Pedro Porro off the right-hand side and whip that sort of cross-field ball towards the back post, or James Maddison doing that from danger zones. As I say, and goal-creating actions is also in the 81st percentile across the top 5 leagues. Playing for a team that's got relegated, not great. Look at this. Look at these. 88th percentile for take-on attempted. Successful take-ons per game, 92%. For a guy that's playing in a team that was going down from day one, he's only tackled 42% of the time he takes players on. So he beats people more than half of the time. You know? Look at this. He's a proper carrier. Like, I don't know if you guys think about this. Have I got the screen up properly, by the way? Pause. I have, yeah. I just think that he is a player that he's English. He's homegrown. He's not club trained. He's going to leave the club. Whoever gets him will be more than happy, and I think you can. I think he's a draw. He's got Tottenham are a draw for him. He's not that far away from where he currently is to move to London. Is he going to go to any of the bigger clubs? I don't think so. I mean, maybe Chelsea. Are they bigger than us? Maybe. Probably. They might want him. I don't know. Guys, what do you think about Liam Delap? One's for Liam, two's for De Crap. There you go. Liam Delap or Liam De Crap? 1 for Liam coming in. 0 for see you later. See you later, Liam. I think it's no brainer. What's his valuation? Let's have a look. Transfer market. Liam Delap. What are we doing here? 12 goals in the Premier League. 12 goals in the Premier League in 34. That ain't bad, is it? That's not bad for a team that was as bad as him. Now, he can play off... They're saying he can play off the right and play in the centre. CAA stellar. It's not CAA base, but it is part of the CAA thing. There's value here, guys. There's value here. He hasn't made an international call-up yet. I don't know why not. He could. Obviously, Harry Kane's in the way. Valued at 17... Oh, no, that's what he went for. Oh, I didn't realise he was part of the Manchester City crew. I mean, Manchester City have got everyone, haven't they? They've got everybody. That's what you can do when the rules around like youth acquisition don't affect your FFP and you've got as much money as you want to spend. Then you just go after all the top talent and bring them through. When was he? So he was in Man City under-18s team. Okay. Oh no, it was Derby. They signed him from Derby. There you go. Just a cheeky 1.3 million quid. And I guarantee you he's got a sell-on fee to that if Ipswich sell him, that Manchester City will get 25% or something. And that's why, look, 18 million quid. Oh, sorry, 15 million quid. It's just a perfect system, isn't it? The rules say you can't spend any money that you don't create on players that are not part of the youth system. Youth system, no problem at all. So they can go and drop them 1.5 million quid, which is nothing to them, on all of the best players. They draw the best players in because they've already created a conveyor belt of talent whereby the system is, look, we will sell you And if you break through, you break through. But if not, we will sell you, and you'll go on and have great opportunities. But at the same time, they make 15 million. So they make a 15 to 1 return on investment on him 4 years after they buy him for a nothing fee. And then they probably also stick 30-40% sell-on fee into the contract so that Ipswich will benefit from a great player. Manchester City don't look at Ipswich as a threat. So, there's no real risk in him playing in the Premier League against them. And Ipswich benefit, and then Man City benefit later on as well. It's a no-brainer. And that's exactly what happened with Pedro Porro, isn't it? Exactly what happened. We got a super chat. 13 hours in the car with Henry. No. We're not doing the car journey, mate. We're not doing the car journey. We've got I've got 4 a.m. pickup from here going to Luton Airport, and then we're flying direct into Bodo. And apparently it's only a 10-minute walk from Bodo to the stadium. So, yeah. I don't think I could stand 13 hours in the car with Henry. That would be... I did 3 hours in the car with him up to Forest. Was it Forest? Yeah. And his choice of music was eclectic, we'll put it that way. He drove because he's got a pathological fear of other people driving. So I was like, mate, I'll drive. He's like, no, I'll drive. I was like, what? Really? We're fighting over who's driving rather than who's not driving, so I can drink all day? He was like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, okay. Why? He's like, oh, no offense, mate, but I can't get in the car with someone else driving. I was like, I'm a great driver. He's like, you probably are, but can't do it. So you need a friend like that, to be honest. Excuse me, got a real cold this morning. Henry, I imagine that playlist comprised mostly of girl bands. Is he in the chat? No, he's not here yet. He's probably out telling Arsenal how great they are. I'm going in hard on Henry today, aren't I? Going in hard on Henry. It's only because I love him. I know he can take it. It's a small town, Shawnee. What's a small town? Bodo. Oh, Bodo is. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Helga. Hello, Helga. 13 hours in the car. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. Only thing is he's focused. Only thing is he's the focus point for every Ipswich attack. So if everything goes through him, then he either looks awful or looks great, and he's been very good for it. He's been very good for them. Yeah, he has. But I just look at that. He's like an old school centre forward. The size of the guy, he's a real handful in the air. He's a bigger handful than Richalison or Solanke. So if you needed to, you can play him up top and just bang balls in, like what Ipswich did against us, and he wins most of his headers. And on top of that, he is really fast. He's really tricky with his feet. It's almost like it's like a Decky type, but more of a centre forward version. Like a big, tall, strapping guy, quick feet, quick acceleration, can go past. I'm going in hard on Henry. That's what I was. Pause. Henry's definitely a Swiftie. Yeah. And you and your mama and two, or whatever the song is. Yeah. Is Henry going to be on the stream today? Oh, should we call him? We'll call him right now. Let's see what happens. Can you hear that?
What's that then?
Oh, there he is. You're live on Spurs Talk Show right now, Henry. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Good, mate. Just there's been a request for you to join because I'm going in quite hard on you today, mate. I played the ones and zeros game and said on a scale of 1 and 0, 1 being that Henry is going to be asleep in a bar by 4 o'clock in Bodo tomorrow because of your claim that you're having 6 pints of Foster's at 6 a.m. in the Weatherspoons.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. It's just whether or not you're actually going to sort of stand up to reality. And I said, I've asked 350 people, ones and zeros game. Any chance you think Henry's going to be able to last the day with Shawnee? And there's not a single person that said that you'd make it. Henry? Oh, my phone died. Damn it. Never mind. I'll put it back on charge and call the guy back in a minute. We'll get him. We'll get him on. We'll get him in. Anyway. What other news we got today? Romero, Christian Romero. It ain't over. We have some news with Christian Romero. He has agreed apparently a 5-year deal with Atletico Madrid, but Tottenham, I ain't calling it time at the bar yet. Apparently, Tottenham are trying to sit down with his representatives to get him to sign a new contract with Tottenham. Now, I don't really want him anymore. I don't want him anymore. What do you think, guys? Shall we say sayonara, arrivederci, ciao to Christian Romero, send him on his way to Atletico Bilbao? Or, yeah, I thought he'd taken the piss. I thought he got, fuck this, I'm out of it. My phone just died of battery. Never mind. We'll call him back in a minute. Let me ask your thoughts, guys. What are we doing on? Let's turn this phone on. There we go. What are we doing with Christian Romero? Ones, do you like Romero? Would you want him to stay if you could convince him to? Or 0, are we cashing in and finding the money and then going in a different direction? Let's find out. 1, if you want him to stay. 0, if you want him gone. I'm a 0 on this one. I don't really have any love for the guy. I've always found him a little bit of a questionable character, should we say. So he doesn't want to be there anymore. I want him to stay, but it appears that he wants out. If he does, then bye-bye to him, and let's focus on getting the best price. Do a Bodo Gonzo stream. Yeah. Polly saying 0's all the way. She wants him out, as does that little pooch. What's the pooch's name, Polly? Finn 0, Dave 0. Danny wants a piece of him still. Peter Simmons wants him to stay. Archer says go. Leah says go. Mrs. didn't like the credit card hit. Is that about Henry? I think it might be. 0 for Gary, 0 for Fieldster. Hero to 0. Yeah. Everyone wants him gone. I like that. I like this. We're on the same page, people. We're on the same page. Yeah, but the story is there. Romero, apparently, everyone, he wants to go. The agents agreed at 5-year contract. Apparently, it's all agreed. All that needs to happen now is the clubs need to agree a fee. Apparently, Atletico Madrid haven't got the money. Player plus cash deals very rarely happen. I don't even think you'd want Conor Gallagher. The only reason you'd want Conor Gallagher now is not that he'd come anyway. He wouldn't want to be here either. I don't want a player that doesn't want to be here. And he clearly doesn't want to be here because he's a Chelsea fan and hates Tottenham and all that stuff. So that's a stupid arrangement. I also don't think we need him if we are not going to be with Ange next season, which I think surely is the obvious solution here. And just given that the relationship with the fans is like an us versus them, as I think, and that we're part of the them category, I think that's horrendous. Like if they're using that, if they're cultivating that internally as some sort of energizing effect, like an amplification of belief, like the fans even the fans don't think you can do it. Do it for yourself. They're not doing this for us. They're doing this for them. And that to me is problematic. I'm not someone that I don't live and breathe Tottenham all day, every day. Like I do. Don't get me wrong. I'm always looking at what's going on. I love it. I love them close to my heart. But I use Tottenham as a distraction from the stresses of life. That's why I've always said that top 4 isn't a trophy, but top 4 is a best barometer of where you are as a football club, and also the best mechanism for you to have a happy weekend. People that said, I'll take 17th to lift the Europa League every season, I think that's nonsense. I don't think you would. I think most people will reflect on this season as a really disappointing one, even if we do win the cup, because, it might be different if you finish 6th in the league and then lift the Europa League. That would be a brilliant season. But if you're finishing 16th, 17th, and you're lifting Europa League, you have 9 games of fun outside of the league stages of the Europa League, and the rest of the season is terrible. For me, it's just it's not a nice way to have that relationship. And if the players can't recognise and reconcile why Tottenham fans are unhappy, and they like just on this fuck the fans. They only sing when we're winning, and they don't understand we're trying hard, and that should be good enough. No, you're not trying hard enough. I was watching a video that I did last year. Right, I was looking at my channel, and I was looking at the kind of homepage of the channel, and it's got the popular videos. And I was looking at one of the ones that was up on the more popular ends, and I was out on the golf course with Bugsy, and I was talking about kind of Gallagher, I think it was, that was close to being done, or some other bullshit rumor that didn't end up happening. I think it was Archie Gray. It was Archie Gray actually, and I was referencing things that we'd seen and like quotes from Ange back then. That was like, oh, you're going to see energy, you're going to see effort. If that's what the Tottenham fans want, they won't be disappointed. These sorts of things. That hasn't manifested, has it? It hasn't manifested. It's manifested in moments, but if you in your job, if you just turn up and don't put the effort in 75% of the time, and then every one day a week you go in and you're like all guns blazing, is your manager going to go top work today? And that's it? Or are they going to say, why can't you do that every day? Because you can do it today. Why can't you? You can do it on a Monday. Why can't you do it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? What's going on? So to me, I just think that it's not good. It's not good for the energy of the club isn't great at the moment, and the way that the fans, I believe, have been pigeonholed into part of the problem by what seems to be some sort of like honest interview questions. I don't think that's a healthy relationship, and that to me comes from a guy that is a little bit too precious with criticism, which the manager is, because the team is he's there! He's there! He's sober right now. Henry, I'll stick it in your Twitter. I'll stick it in your Twitter, mate. I'll stick it in your Twitter. He couldn't resist. Rubber arm. There he is. Links to the Twitter, mate. Links to the Twitter. He's coming on, people. Banter is abound. Get your funniest questions to Henry lined up. Stick them in. We will call them all out as he appears. We've got some questions for him. How many beers does it take to screw in a Eskimo? Yeah, buddy. Here he is. No, he's not here yet. He's not here. That was something else. He's coming on. He's coming on. I'll tell you what, if it's easier, Henry, I'll just put you the link in there. This is just for Henry, guys. Just for Henry. All right. No one else, please. Just want to keep it. So I wasn't going to go for too long today. I would have been going for an hour. But when Henry comes on, you got to like extend, right? You got to extend, people. I'll stick it in your Twitter. Yeah. I was saying to him yesterday, I was like, I'm going to take your passport off you when you passed out, and I'm going to hide it up some Eskimo's Gary Glitter. See what happens. Super chat from D Lively. Thank you, mate. Livesley. Come on, Henry, get Livesley. Romero thinks he is bigger than Spurs. I think he does. I think he does as well. And I think James Maddison does. Although that's the other story today. James Maddison, rumours are today that there's actually legitimate interest in him from Manchester City. It wasn't just a bullshit story yesterday, that it's actually legit. But that now his injury is going to destroy the move because he is injured. So he won't pass any medicals. Because apparently that injury is more significant than has been let on. Like he might be out for a significant amount of time. Like he might even miss the start of next season. And so it's mad looking back. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's mad looking back at your videos from last summer. So many wild stories. Yeah. How many? Like the most popular videos are? It's close. It's almost done. Around players that never ever around us. And they never came. This is why that the internet never forgets. But I always caveat by saying, I'm not making these things up. Every time I mention a name, it's out there. I don't just wake up and go, there's nothing really in the news today, so I better just go out there and make up a name. Let's go and pick Jan Bissek from Inter. No, that story was written by somebody else who did that. I'm just someone I'm the messenger. That's all I am. I'm the messenger. Where is he? Is he had a change of heart? Henry, where are you? Stella for Henry. Now, listen, I'll be putting some lemonade in his Fosters. You know, give him half a chance. Oh, I'm going to call him now. See what he's up to. Let's get him back on. Let's find out where he is. Only got a couple of bars of battery, so hang on. Let's do it this way. Hello, mate.
I'm literally just making the tea and eating this sandwich and I'll be on.
The fact that the fans have got some questions for you, mate.
Oh,
great. Eat your sandwich on the stream. Get yourself on. Okay, see you in a minute. Bye. He's a fucking legend. I love him. Love him. Little Arsenal sycophant that he is. You see that video he did last night? Barca versus Inter. Unbelievable. He's proper. What do you call? What would you call his content? It's like superlatives. Is that the word? Superlative central. Wow! A 7-goal thriller. Inter are through. Barca, best team in the world, are out. I hold my hands up. I got it wrong. He sounds like Ross Kemp. Ross Kemp from Gangs, the World's Toughest Gangs, or whatever that program was. But he's like, we're here in deepest, darkest Los Angeles. I'm hanging around with some gangsters, and I'm a little bit scared. Hi, Ren. How you doing? Bye, love you. Bye, love you too. You're hyperbolic. That's the word I'm looking for. Hyperbolic. Rage bait. There we go. Full of shit. He's all or nothing. Yeah, they should do an Amazon documentary on Henry Wright. Be sensational. What we got here? Tuborg is Danish beer. Tuborg. We have too many. Tuborg Gold gets Norway. Maybe you shouldn't try that one time. Throw Beyonce out there or some shit. Maybe you should try that one time. What? Try what? What? I don't know. What are you saying, Lord Stephen? So we have him for another season. Who? Matters. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like, well, you can't sell a guy that's injured, can you? So he's hanging around. But as Johnny says, 33% and a third. You know, it's if he's injured now and it's a long termer, then he'll be rubbish for the first half of the season, as he usually is. I'm happy for him to go, to be honest. But then again, with him gone, like Tottenham have got a lot of work to do, and I don't know. I just feel like it's difficult to be able to, even the most glass half full Tottenham fans, about our owner, about our backroom decision making, whatever. Everyone should probably be on board. The kind of consent. I think there is general consensus that good at some things, bad at others. What's in the bad column? Transfer strategy. Generally, how you spend it is what dictates how you perform, right? And it hasn't been good, has it? It hasn't been good. So, like, if we're now selling all our best players, and that's even not knowing what happens in the Europa League, then it's a lot of work to do, isn't it? Sell Romero. Decky might want out. What do we think of Decky? Here's a ones and zeros games for you, because I think that Decky is at his best. He's unplayable. I think he has massively unique value. I think that there's very few players that have what he has, maybe Liam Delap isn't a bad example of someone that carries some of the same sort of skill sets in that he's big, he's strong, he's tough, he can hold the ball up, he's good in the air, but he's also got that kind of quickness of, and like, he's like a wrestler mixed with a ballerina. Here he is. There he is. There he goes. He's carb loading, people. He's carb loading ahead of tomorrow. How you doing, Henry?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, not too bad. Connection's gone. Ain't a peanut butter sandwich.
You're a peanut butter fiend, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had
What's
peanut
been
butter?
happening? I've not even seen any stories yet.
The stories are Madison's exit is actually legit, but now his injury could mean he'll fail a medical. The stories
He's not
are
going anywhere.
You don't think so?
No. He's the best creative midfielder we've got. Right, he's the only one that can get on the ball on the half turn and create something. And if he goes, who would we get in to replace him? Eating like a toddler. Nothing wrong with that.
Mate, you've been on the receiving end of some banter this morning, mate. You've been on the receiving end.
That's all right. Yeah, I don't think he'll go. I think Man City will go in for Gibbs White.
Yeah.
And I think
you think Gibbs White's better than Madison?
Yeah, I think he is. He's definitely been better this season.
He's more
consistent.
consistent.
Part of Forest is one of their better players. But again, if we don't win the Europa League and we're not in European football, a lot of these players' heads are going to turn. Romero's gone. He's already joined Atletico Madrid. I mean, Julian Alvarez is saying that, I don't know if you see the interview he did with the Spanish magazine or whatever, saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see Christian Romero," and then they reworded it to, "I'd be really happy if he joined."
Yeah.
Like, you snakes, go and eat your tap.
We're being tapped up here, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is old school Ferguson stuff, isn't it?
Romero's gone. I also think Richarlison's gone as well.
That's fine. Has anyone got a problem with Richarlison going? One's in the chat.
One of Porro or Udogie is going to go if we don't win the Europa. One of them's going to go.
Who's going to come in for Udogie?
Well, Man City have been. Even Romano said they're interested.
How much for him?
Probably 60.
It's the question though. Like, it's easy to sit there and go, well, you get 60 for Romero, 60 for Udogie, 80 for Porro. Right, that's 200 million. Yeah. And then, I don't know, like Madison as well, just for argument's sake, 250. That's never going to happen. But in a world where it did happen, do you have any faith in Tottenham to be able to spend that money correctly?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think Man City were saying their plans to move Vardy from a left back to a centre back and bring in a left back, and that's why they're looking at Udogie. And then Liverpool, obviously, there was a couple of shameless links out there linking them to Porro to replace Trent.
He'd do well there. It's basically it's almost like a like for like, isn't it? What I think the fullback spot is the hardest one in football to get right, and it's the most important sort of position. And I don't really know. Like, usually I've got a long list of 10 strikers that I'd be happy to see, 20 centre backs, 50 DMs. I've had to ask people on the last couple of videos I've done, anyone who's got any right back suggestions, let me know, because I'm coming up dry. I don't really know where you go. Kenny Tete from Fulham, but you wouldn't want him as your starter. You'd want him as your rotation. I think it's Aino. Is it the guy at Forest who's all out of contract as well in the summer?
He's 28, 29 though, and he's probably going to. I reckon he'll sign a new deal.
Yeah, but
I don't think we'll sign a right back because I think we'll use Jed Spence and Archie Gray. I think Jed Spence will be the number one, and we'll use Archie Gray as the backup. We all need to sign a left back though because we have Van der Ven that can play there, Davis that can play there. But we won't actually have a left back. You got Livermenzo. We should have gone in for him a couple of years ago. He's probably now worth 45 million in today's market from Newcastle. Josip Stanisic, who'd signed for Bayern Munich. We should have gone in for him. Could play centre back and right back. Matty Cash is leaving. Stanisic, the centre back who can play right back. Matty Cash is leaving Aston Villa.
Kind of make cash.
No, but I'm saying like with Denzel Dumfries, everyone turned their nose up at him when we were linked to him under Conte. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Five goal contributions against Barcelona over 2 legs.
Your video was hilarious about that.
Mate, honestly, that game, I sat there for 1 minute. I was like, come on, Inter. And then Barca scored. I was like, come on, Barca. I mean, she goes to me, why are you getting so excited? I was like, you just don't understand. This is a Champions League semi-final. People who don't like football don't understand the excitement people get from watching football. Like, I was down the Junction pub the other day, and I can't remember what game I was watching. But there was a last-minute winner, and I was going like, fuck me, me bets come in. Like, yes. Probably getting excited. And someone was going like, you don't even like either of these teams. I was like, yeah, but imagine how they feel in the stadium for a last-minute limbs. Oh, it was the Chelsea Fulham game. It was when Pedro Neto scored in like the 94th minute, to win it. I was like, imagine how those Chelsea fans feel like the Champions League hopes when everyone's written them off, no wins in 7 or whatever it is. Beat Fulham, beat Liverpool, and now they're in the driving seat again, and Villa and Forest are slowly falling away.
Best example of that, if it wasn't last night in the Champions League with that late goal from Barca, then the equaliser and then the winner, that was big. But Man United against Lyon was also.
Oh, I imagine that, like 3 goals in 8 minutes. Imagine being at Ajax, going out on a terrace half hour afterwards. We've just Lucas Moura has just scored in the 95th minute. Like, imagine
you would have the best 5 minutes of our life because you'd be so excited, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate, I've got pitching tent and all sorts down there. That'd be, honestly, you could open the door with it. It'd be that excited.
Super chat from Dean. Appreciate you, Dean. I think you're saying Madison is even worse, Sean. Never liked him from the go with his personal room at the stadium. Has he got a personal room at the stadium? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Madison?
I'm pretty sure that they offered him a box or something, but he has to pay for it. They did it with Eze as well. When every time Crystal Palace, like this weekend, guaranteed, Eze's family will have a box there. And if Madison goes, that's the one we should bring in to replace him. We should bring him in anyway.
Where does he
1
play?
year left in his contract. Part of the same agency as Ange Postecoglou. Majority of the Spurs players, homegrown, can turn up in big games. He's versatile. I'd take him in a heartbeat. And there are a lot of games in the Premier League. You could have, like, hypothetically, you could have a lone 6 like Belieber from Brighton with 2 attacking players. Like, I don't think any of our players can play the 6.
4-1.
Go 4-2-3-1 or something like that, or 4-4-2-2 and have like a diamond where you've just got one of them and then like 3 of them forward. Like when you play Ipswich and Southampton and Wolves and and West Ham, you don't need to go with like a double pivot. You need to play a double pivot against the Cities, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Newcastles. But there are a good 12 teams in this league where Tottenham are expected to have all the ball and beat them.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the bottom 10, Tottenham should be going there with all the ball, home or away, and have the better chances. Also, we've got that young lad, Vicario, coming in.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that video on Twitter of that Miracle? What's his name? Miracle something or other now under 18 team. Who's and he's like just doing nutmegs for days,
beating players for fun. He'll get into our team, and Ange will be like, "No, you can't run at your player. You got to pass it back."
Do you think Ange's going to be here next season?
Oh, no chance. No
chance. If we win?
Even if he wins the Europa League, I'm very much 60-40, 70-30, I'd say. Because as much as I want him out, as much as I can't stand the guy, how do you sack a manager who has been our most successful manager in 45 years?
Well, you just give him a P45 and say it's who we are, mate.
but then what manager would you? The club should already have a list of 5 managers they want to bring in, and I think they do. Thomas Frank, Andoni Iraola, Marco Silva.
Iraola's not coming. He's not leaving Bournemouth.
No, I think Marco Silva will be the guy. I think that he'll be. I think he'll be the guy. But I think Thomas Frank's a better manager than him. And if we get Thomas Frank, and he gets straight on the blower and goes, "Look, I'm going to Spurs. We're in the Champions League. Wissa, Nordegaard, Buemo, Rico Henry. There's your 4 players you raid from Brentford over the next 2 years. You got your left back. You got 2 forwards that are better than any forward we've got in Buemo and Wissa. And Nordegaard's he's like one of the most creative players in the league.
Yeah, he ain't that great though.
I'd take him
ahead of Madison.
No, but we also like Madison and Berghvall are the only real creative players we've got. Like you don't look at creativity for Bissouma, for Sarr, for Gray, for Bentancur, do you?
But isn't the point of having like take on wingers, look to the creativity to be down there? You've only got space for one creative player in the team in the 10, right? You don't have it you don't need it in the 6 or the 8 as much. You need box to box in the 8. You need defensive stability in the 6. You need the 10 to be able to utilize the room that's created by the wingers that are terrifying, and then they can create the space to make magic happen. But like, I don't think there's room.
Sorry, not Nordegaard, Damsgaard. Wrong name. He's got 10 assists in the Premier League this season. Like, what
are we doing here? We're
raiding. He needs a new hairline. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, we're raiding. I mean, I actually like the free kick that he scored in the World Cup was classy. Do you? Are we like now? Is this what we're doing? Are we settling for the way that we improve is by getting good players from teams that are worse than us?
Well, I get what you're saying. We should be aiming for like stars, but there's a lot of teams that have got players. Like I built a team yesterday from the bottom 10 that was miles better than Spurs, just from the bottom 10 teams. I had Cunha, I had Damsgaard, I had Buemo, I had Ain't Nouri, I had Wissa. It was a very, very, very attacking team, but it was better. And it's like a lot of those teams aren't going to be in Europe. We're going to be able to offer potentially Champions League football. And it's like, you don't need to go for the stars to get Tottenham to compete. We're not attractive enough right now, in my opinion, to go for the stars. Like why, for instance, someone like Jules Koundé at Barcelona, their right back. Say we need a right back. And let's say Liverpool need to replace Trent. And let's say Ben White's got a long-term injury at Arsenal. And let's say Chelsea get Champions League and then they're worried about if Reece James and Gusto can make the season. We're bottom of that list in terms of replacing players. Like Ain't Nouri right now, their left back, Wolves is left back, one of the best left backs in the league, right? We should be looking at him. But the problem is City are looking at him. United are looking at him. So you need to find a balance of getting a star, but also getting a very competent Premier League player. Like not a lot of teams, in my opinion, will go in for Eze. Not a lot of teams will go in for Damsgaard. Because I think the teams that are looking for creative midfielders will go for the next caliber up. The Dani Olmos, which we could have gone in for last summer. You know, look for the Florian Wirtz at Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, apparently Maddison is out. He's done his meniscus, hasn't he? He's done his MCL. So they're talking about him being back like fully fit in like September.
Yeah.
So he's going to miss like, the first 4 weeks of the season probably.
Yeah, and then he'll take half the season to come back to full fitness.
That's what I'm saying. Look at Eze. A year left in his contract. Go and chuck 30, 40 mil. 25 mil, test the bag.
25 mil for Eze?
1 year left on his contract. They're not going to be in a position to say we want 60 mil. And if they do, they can
that's where Tottenham would screw up, right? That's where Tottenham would screw up.
Is it Parish, their CEO, whatever it is? Tell Parish to go fuck himself if he wants 60 mil. There's 25.
Okay, well, right. how much is Gahey worth?
Oh, I've been talking about this guy for 3 years. I was told he was shy. I was told
he is shy. He's not shy, but he ain't as good as you say.
I'm sounding like Johnny over here. But we've had many a conversation about Mark Gahey last summer and the summer before. If Romero goes out the door, he should be one we're looking at. If Romero's done and dusted, and we went to Palace,
Yeah, but he's got 1 year left on his contract.
do the same thing. 60 mil for them both. 30 mil each, 1 year left in your contract. Both English.
If they lift the FA Cup, future FA Cup winner, Mateta, as you said the other day. And
Honestly, bring him, bring Sarr, bring... I'll take half their team.
Mate, then you take half of Brentford's team as well.
Oh, exactly.
What are we doing? Brentford Palace, yeah?
I think if you put a team together from Brentford and Crystal Palace this season, it'd be better than us.
Yeah, but would it win the league?
They won't win the league. But
if you had Mateta,
Wisa and Buemo.
That's
one of the best front threes in the league.
Madison in the 10.
With Eze alongside him.
Sorry, not Madison. Eze in the 10, sorry. We're just doing the combined 11 of Brentford against Thingy. Gahey at the back. And who would be on the right side at Brentford?
Well, you could go with your back four probably be Rico Henry and Menuz as the fullbacks, or you've got Mitchell, and you probably go Gahey and who's their right sided centre back? I can't remember now.
Let's have a look. Hang on. Brentford.
They've got Van der Berg and they've got Collins.
Yeah, Van der Berg's class. Nathan Collins, Sepp Van der Berg.
Christopher. Oh no! I'd take both Palace centre backs. I'd go Lacroix and I'd go Gahey. And then goalkeeper Henderson's been unreal this season, and I'd probably go Henderson. Mate, if Palace win the FA Cup,
you know what? I'd take Rico Henry. I think he's class. He's class as well. He's injured though, isn't he, Rico Henry? Or he's always injured. Yeah, it wasn't a long time ago.
So there's a lot of players out there. I mean, Palace, you could raid Palace, for instance. If we got Oliver Glasner, you could do the same thing. You bring in Menez, you bring in Gahey, you bring in Eze.
What are we doing here? Crystal Palace and and Brentford's combined best 11 is Champions League material. That combined 11 is
would
better
be
than
a strong Europa League contender. Easy. That front three, Mateta scored 17 goals, Wisa scored 17 goals, and Buemo scored 16 goals.
Yeah.
I think Mateta's scored more goals than any of our.
How much did those players cost? Let's have a look.
Probably peanuts.
So, and Buemo, transfer market, and Buemo cost Brentford €6.5 million, euros, £5 million.
Jean-Philippe Mateta cost Crystal Palace €5 million. And the fee rose to 11 million.
Well, Vissa, let's have a look.
42 goal contributions in 84 games for Crystal Palace.
Young Wissa cost £8 million. This is like people talk about Brighton's youth, like their ability to attract players through their data. Brentford have got the same thing. It's just not as celebrated, but Brentford's data model is very good as well, isn't it? Why don't you just go and drop 20 million quid on a fledgling data company?
Mate, stick that in there. You look at our recruitment, we spend so much money. Like 50 million on Johnson, 60 million on Solanke, 60 million on Richalison, 40 million on Van der Ven, 40 million on Madison. Like, that's already over 250 million. But you look at Crystal Palace. Odebear was 40 million. You look at the amount of money we spend, we shouldn't be in a position where we're saying Crystal Palace and Brentford have a better team than us.
I also think that unless they haven't got a better team than us, they've got some better players. Come on. Oh, mate, what are we doing here?
Look where we are in the league. We can't say. I get what you're saying.
It's a moment in time because we're managed by bozos. Like we like last season we were big.
Brentford are on 52 points and we're on 38. They got 14 points more than us. And let's just be brutally honest. We're not beating Villa away. Let's just say it how it is. Villa away, 4 days before a potential Europa League final. We are not beating them, right? They're going for top 5 as well. We've also got to play Crystal Palace. That probably screams of a draw, right? And then we've also got to play Brighton.
So we're not getting to 40 points this season?
I think we'll get to 39.
40 points has been relegation in the Premier League in the past.
Mate, it's extremely sad. If we honestly, like, I know we did the stream on Monday with Tobes, and I was sitting there thinking after it that if we don't win this Europa League, I think it's going to be. I think for the next 18 to 24 months, it's going to be turmoil.
Yeah.
Not only that, from a content perspective, only 38 games in 2 cup runs. No Europa League to talk about.
Yeah, you're all right, mate. You've got Arsenal to talk about.
Listen, don't worry about that. We're not talking about that right now.
I am in trouble.
8 hours.
The only person in the world who's got as much on the line as Daniel Levy has is yours truly, because people who want to come for Levy can't access Levy. I'm accessible every day. The amount of hate that I'm going to get if Daniel Levy screws this up. Daniel, please, Daniel.
Would you? I got asked this question
I've
yesterday.
got problems in my life. I don't need this. Lift the fucking
I got asked
cup.
this question yesterday, and it's to everyone in the chat as well. Would you take winning the Europa League if it meant Arsenal win the Champions League?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said yeah. And not only that, book your flights to Udinese because it's happening mid-August.
The Super Cup in Udinese. Can you imagine, mate? Have you seen the Anchorman when they do that film, The Anchorman, but the Anchorman 2 when they do like the Mexican standoff and they're all doing this? And there's all these like the different news organizations that are all turning up for a big fight. Like I can imagine Tottenham's firm, Arsenal's firm. It wouldn't just be those two that want to square off in the pubs outside Udinese. You'd get Inter firms turning up. You'd get Napoli turning up. You'd have Juve, Torino. You'd have Roma. There'd be more knives than in a fucking second-hand cutlery store.
Yeah, more knives than fucking IKEA have got. Someone said in the chat, why won't they move the Villa fixture? They have moved it. It's happening Friday. So It happens 5 days potentially before the Europa League final.
Listen, Villa, I've said this in a couple of streams now. I think Villa are quietly becoming my most detestable club. And it's in no small part because of you and Sabah. Like
Villa are a good side, but they've also got problems as well. But they've got big problems.
They have. Yeah, you got the Matty Cash element. You got now them like injuring our players every time we play them. You got there being a local like a threat to the Champions League spot. So that kind of who else is part of the Big Six, and you've got now them being a little bit shitty and cunty about the there goes my monetization. Well done, Sean. Well done. Apologies.
Don't worry about it. We didn't hear it.
No one heard it. But they're being a little bit difficult regarding the fixture. I think that quietly, we're talking about claret and blue as being rivalries. Most people think of West Ham, but I don't really care about West Ham anymore. I care more about Villa. I hate Villa. I've got such a detestable viewpoint on them. And it started with you and Sabah, to be honest. It started with you and Sabah, and then ever since then it's grown because of Matty Cash and the rest. But for me, Villa, nah. They're up there. They're up there with Chelsea in my most detestable clubs. What are you showing me?
Could you share that, please? So this is the fixtures that Man
United. I can hear you. It's got to go for a wee. It's next door. But
yeah, no worries. So this is the fixtures that Man United and Spurs have got, which will be a few days before the Europa League final. So we've got Villa at Villa Park at 7:30, and United have got Chelsea at the Bridge at 8:15. Now, the final, to my knowledge, is on the 21st of May. Am I right on that? 21st of May? Yes. So we would both get a lot more rest. What other Premier League games are on that weekend? Oh, Forest are winning. Everton are winning. Probably a draw. Leicester win. Newcastle win. Liverpool win. So yeah, so if I quickly zoom out on here quickly, and I click on Spurs, and I click on this game, and I click on, there we go, that's what I wanted to see. So that's the predicted lineup. I mean, yeah, Matt Watson's put break in. Tottenham star James Madison is out for the rest of the season and could miss up to 3 months on the sideline. I mean, that's just fucking bollocks. How has he got injured that badly? That's a joke, mate.
How we doing? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing here? It's just make believe 11s.
No, this is the predicted 11. What's his name? Paul O'Keefe's confirmed about Madison.
Yeah, he's out until 3 months, right?
Yes, yeah, so that's the predicted 11. So they're going to have. So they've got Berg back in their 11, and they've got
Solanke's out.
Yeah, he's a doubt though. He probably will still play.
He's doubt. He's not a doubt. He's doubt. Says Micky Flanagan. Who's the other side? So look at them. Go back up. Go back up.
Madison, Berghvall, obviously Dragusin and Son, and then they've got Daniel Bassi out. They've got their best midfielder, Haug and Blomberg.
So Helmersson's not playing.
Who's not playing?
Is it Helmersson or something? Their striker that missed the first leg.
He might be playing, but I look at that and I think that midfield, like, I'd be tempted to throw in. Who can you play in the 10? It's got to be Kuda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that team's good enough to go and keep out a 2-goal lead? And all this bullshit about it's going to snow. It snowed on Sunday. Now they've got a heat wave.
Heat wave's 9 degrees.
That's a heat wave for Norway, mate.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Helga will be more likely to, she's more likely to turn the heaters off in the sauna. You know.
Daniel Harris has said, we're not winning the Europa League. Our squad has been decimated again. That's my concern, Matt. If we concede in the first 20 minutes.
Who's Matt?
The 2 comments below. If we concede in 20 minutes, then it's game on.
Daniel Harris. Daniel Harris comes from the Sava school of thought, though. Daniel found my channel through Sava and is generally a very nice guy, but he's about as negative as the wrong side of a battery. You know?
That's quite good for you. Yeah, so I put the car into that at the airport. Put that in yesterday, sorry. All this stuff at Arsene Wenger. Tottenham and Man United don't deserve to be in the Champions League for winning the Europa League. Giving it, I did not see it. Shut up, mate, you twat. That fucking dinosaur. You win a trophy. You got every right to be in the Champions League if you win the Europa League. That's been like that for decades. Him giving it old.
This wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the fact that it's Tottenham.
And Man United.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, what are you going to change the rules next year, right? And then, like, if they change the rules for next year, and then suddenly the teams that get to the final are actually first in next season's Premier League, for example. Like, let's say, I don't know, Brentford qualify for the Europa League by right in this season's league, and then next season they have an absolute like stormer in the league and they're first and they're competing like Nottingham Forest are this season. What are we going to do then? Actually, sorry, we screwed up because actually the Europa League is a good barometer because the Premier League is currently being dominated by Brentford and they're in the Europa League semi-final, so they should really be recognised and rewarded by getting back into the Champions League. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here?
The media love there's a narrative that obviously the big six get a lot more attention, but like the minute Brighton qualified for the Europa League, Sky Sports was putting out major stories. Brighton have finally qualified for the Europa League, and it's like when we got to a Europa League semi-final, no one gives a fuck. It's like because there's an expectation we're supposed to win because we're a bigger club than Brighton. Like if Palace win the FA Cup, I looked at it earlier. So if Man City win the FA Cup, there could be 8 teams in Europe from the Premier League next season. If City win it, there's only 7. So, I mean, the 8 teams, our under 18s at the moment are losing to Fulham 3-1.
Right now?
Right now.
Is that available on Spurs Play?
I think so. So right now, on the table next season, Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, Chelsea, Newcastle City, Arsenal and Liverpool would get in the Premier League if Manchester City win the FA Cup. So come the end of the season, you might have a situation where Brentford or Bournemouth are in Europe and Spurs are not. I mean, that's massive for Bournemouth or Brentford. If they go and win the Conference League.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be, like, the idea that the Europa League and the Conference League shouldn't give you a promotion to the it's one position, it's one team. Like, it's such a nonsense argument. That you completely denigrate the value of the competition if you don't have any reward for it. So there's no real value, because the teams that qualify via the league will qualify again anyway. So there should be a reward for winning the trophy. And also, it's the only way that certain teams can get in, like a Conference League team that wins the Conference League and then qualifies to Europa League. That's a wonderful thing for them, and it can. Otherwise, you're just protecting the status quo, and it's the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. It's stupid. And, like, by the way, like, Richard Keys and Andy Gray, they can suck a fat egg for all I care.
Yeah, and Arsene Wenger in there as well. Yeah,
and him.
I did not see it. Mate, shut up, you dinosaur.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: if we get to the final,
no, when?
There we go. When we get to the final and we're out in Bilbao, but the great thing about what we're doing here, right? We both place bets that sort of make our trip palatable in a world where we don't get there. And then, if I don't get to meet Helga on tomorrow, I'm still going to Bilbao anyway, so I'll get to meet 5,000 of the fuckers.
You get to meet some little senorita called, like, Diaz or something, or Garcia. She'll be all over you like tramping hot chips.
Yeah. No, but on top of that, like, I'll be in Bilbao, and there'll be fucking every single person from Bodo will be in Bilbao that day. So, like,
so you had a right touch.
The chances are I'm meeting a Helga either tomorrow or in a couple of Thursdays' time. And,
like, Man United are very, very fortunate tonight. They're saying that Nico and Inaki Williams are doubts against Man United tomorrow. So Man United are
through, 100%.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Man United are through to the Europa League final. And we are, it's 90 minutes away. I just hope that if we get an early goal, if we score from like a corner or something, or Richie or Solanke scores a header in the first 20 minutes, it's done. They will fold like a prime IKEA deck chair. Yeah. If they score against us, it's going to be now biting. If they score in like the opening 5 minutes, it's going to be now biting stuff for 85 minutes. I'm going to be sitting there. Johnny's going to have his phone out every 5 seconds, going, right, and we're going to be sitting there going, mate, I can't move because I'm so nervous.
Johnny's actually like an incredible multitasker.
I know he is.
The fact that he can record 90 minutes of football on his phone, get all of the clips, but also, like, because I think he used to be into photography, so he knows exactly what he's doing on how to, like, drag the screen. Does it all with his iPhone. He hasn't got like some like wand that. But he's I don't know whether he's got an app that can zoom in and maintain the pixelation. But whenever I do it from my seat, I've got fat like sausage fingers, and I try and pinch it. The screen either flies in too fast, or the pixelation never kind of catches up. And my efforts are terrible. Johnny can do it for 90 minutes and also commentate in the background whilst he's like doing it, and also watch the game. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he creates good content, and none of the game is missed in his mind either. Like, it's quite a remarkable skill set that he's got. Fair play to him. And like I say, as soon as you get some good content, I'll be like, Johnny, send that to me. Send that to me. I'm going to upload it on the channel. I'm going to try and get myself 100,000 views.
It's got to be done, mate.
Shameless FC. Mate, when we get to Bilbao and we're playing Manchester United, are we going to go for the season? This narrative that's like, yeah, we've beaten Man United 3 times this season. The law of averages said that they're going to win the 4th. Like, what is that? What is that for, like, a bullshit mentality? It should be, we smashed you 3 times.
It's different though, isn't it? A one-off game different.
Ange Postecoglou has never lost to Manchester United, ever.
It's going to be different though in a one-off game. Like, they're going to be completely going into the game different as if they would a Premier League game. In the like grand scheme of things, both teams aren't going to get relegated. Like, I think they've got one player which we don't have, and that's Bruno. They've got a player like Bruno Fernandes who always turns up, and we don't have Maddison or Berghvall. Like, we need Son. If there's a game where Son wants to cement his legacy at Tottenham and say, I lifted a trophy and Harry Kane didn't, and go down as a legend, Like if Son played that
they
game,
all go down as a legend, mate. They all do. Like,
no, especially him. 10 years at the football club, 130 Premier League goals, whatever it is. If he plays the final where he's been out for 3 months, like did you watch the Eubank Conor Ben fight where Eubank's dad comes out of the taxi? If we're like that, Ange hops out the coach and then Son's there, like it's get like and he turns up, bags a goal, lifts the trophy.
Do you take that chance, mate? If we get there and he doesn't play a minute of Premier League football between now and the final, and then suddenly he's available, I'm free, boss. I'm ready. Like, do you go? Is this Harry Kane all over again, or is this like? Do you do it, or do you go? No, I'm going to reward Richalison and Matisse Tell for their efforts in getting us here.
You start Son on the bench,
right?
You'd say like 70th minute though. If we're struggling and it's 0-0, that's a good player to bring on.
Do we win? Ones and zeros in the chat. 1, do we win? Do we qualify tomorrow? 0 if we don't. And then next question, 2s and 3s. 3 if we go and lift the cup. 2 if we get to the final, but don't. And then 0s all the way if we lose anyway. If we lose tomorrow, we don't make it. But 1 if we beat them tomorrow. And then 3 if you think we go on. 1 if we go through. And then 2 if we lose. 0 if we lose tomorrow.
Hang on. So Timo's saying Son ain't been out for 3 months. Okay, when's the last game he played then? What's the last? He was out before the international break. Wasn't
so
it?
1 we're going through. 3 we're winning it. We lose the game, but we win the cup. 1 we go through. 2 we lose in the final. 3 I've really complicated this, haven't I? By 1s, 2s, and 3s and 0s. Everyone's saying we're going through. 5, Henry. 5 if you think, what was that? That's what that's anyway. Was it say it? What have I done here? What have I done? What's going on here?
When
5 you think Henry needs to do a haircut. Henry, you're going to get a haircut for the girls tomorrow, mate.
5 if you think Henry needs a haircut. I mean, what are we doing here?
0. Darren says we're going out. Son has to play in the final. 0, but on penalties. Fucking hell. 3, we're going to win it. We're winning it. We're not getting. Hang on, you can't have both. You're saying we're winning in the cup and we're losing tomorrow. You're just being difficult, Mr. Hayes. Being difficult. We're winning the cup, says Nick.
So Son's last game was on the 4th. Was on the 6th of April against Southampton, where he played 57 minutes. Since then, he played 23 against Man City, 45 against Bournemouth, 45 against Fulham. He's played 190 minutes since the 2nd of February.
He's not fit. He's not ready. You can't play him. Sorry, his season's done.
He's got 1 goal. Wow. So he scored against Arsenal and he scored against Bournemouth. He's got 2 goals in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2 goals in 16 games.
I forgot to ask you this, mate. Forgot to ask you this. Liam Delap. Rumours that Tottenham are after him and that we're going to be able to offer him more than other clubs.
Everyone's after him, aren't they? Chelsea, United.
Would you take him?
I'd take him, but that means one of Richalison and Solanke's got to go. And you know what Daniel was like? Are we going to get the right money for Richalison? I don't think he will join Tottenham. I think he'll join Chelsea or Man United. I think we've got bigger areas on the pitch to worry about than our strikers. Bringing a 6 in for me is the ultimate priority, and it's been the priority for 2 years. Like if we had 50 million to spend on a striker or 50 million to spend on Believer at Brighton, I'd go and get Believer.
Why Believer?
Energy levels up and down, can sit and sweep it up. He's a young player.
His name is also incredibly useful for someone like you to be dropping in little puns. I am a believer. Tottenham Hotspur are back. Ladies and gentlemen, Belieber to Spurs. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure you drop a like and smash that subscribe button.
Make sure you go down and butcher that.
Let's get into it.
He's only 21. So you got a DM there if you put pinning down to a long contract for the next decade at a very good club that coach players well at Brighton. You know, we stole Bissouma from them. You know, if they want Bissouma back, I'd quite happily sell Bissouma in the summer. You had him as a 6, Berghvall as the 8, and Maddison as the 10. I think that's a very well functioning midfield. Then you got backups that can come in like Gray, Bentancur, Sarr. And then if Udogie hypothetically does go, you'd have to bring in a left back. I think you keep Spence and Gray as your right back options. I don't think, because if we don't get in the Euro Champions League, it's going to be very tight. Money's going to be tight. We're going to have to rely on a lot of outgoings. So Romero's going to go. I think you can get 100 million for Romero and Udogie. And then if you spend, say, 50 million of that on Belieber, and then say 30 million on a left back, and then 20 million on another midfielder, and then whatever we've got left in, plus Richalison goes.
Go and get me David Hansko.
Right. Well, for centre back as well, people are arguing that if Romero goes, we've already got the replacement in Danso.
That's what I'm saying, mate. Imagine that. Like, you're talking about puns. What can you work on with like David Hansko and Kevin Danzo, right? You'd be like, here we go. Romero to Atletico Madrid. Here's my options for you. Make sure you get down and smash the like button. Kevin Danso and David Hansko can go straight into my first 11 at Tottenham Hotspur for relatively cheap money. We can talk about it right now. Drop the like button.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's fucking Danso, Jansko, Han Solo. Bring them all in, mate. They're all fucking coming.
Talking about Han Solo. What are we doing tomorrow, mate, with regards Helga? No, I want to get your take, mate, because you did say the first thing you were doing when you got to Luton Airport was 6 pints in Wetherspoons, yeah?
If we get to the airport early enough, I'm straight into the Wetherspoons. I don't think they've got Foster's. I'll probably have to have... I mean, I had Estrella yesterday, and that tasted like arse.
Yeah, I'll drop a little lemonade in there, mate. Give you a chance, all right?
Nah, no chance.
Shandy? Little lemonade top?
I'm either going to go straight on the vodka and cokes and bash them back, or
how many drinks do you think you're going to consume?
What, tomorrow? Oh, fuck me. It depends. If you're up for it, if we're going to be going in like Kane and Son, mate, the fucking duo of dreams, you know, and Johnny's going to be filming the whole lot, I reckon throughout the entire course of the day, if we're right up for it, 15, 16, 17 vodkas. Easy. I'm not. That's not even laughable. Like that is unreal, mate.
So is that half a bottle of vodka?
Well, it depends if you're going singles or doubles.
Yeah, what we talking
depends
about?
Depends if you can fucking handle it, doesn't it?
How many shots are in a litre of vodka?
I think it's 32 shots in a bottle of vodka.
In a litre, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're claiming half a litre, so half a litre of vodka. Okay, that's my standard daily consumption, right? In a nutshell, if I'm going for it, that's what I'll put away. And what I need to know is, mate, is like if we're going for it, then
is that it? There's 22 shots. 22 shots in a bottle of vodka.
So you're saying 3/4 of a litre then?
Throughout the course of the day, yeah, absolutely. 4 or 5 at the airport, 1 on the plane. Get there.
4. If you have 4 or 5 shots of vodka at the airport, I guarantee I'll have a 50 quid bet with anyone who wants it that Henry Wright won't make it past the whaling session at 4 p.m. He's going to be asleep at the bar.
I don't think you understand, mate. Like, honestly,
what don't I understand?
I'll be more than okay. I'll have the fucking stability of a newborn horse walking out just in its prime. I'll have the fucking
be on ice. Yeah.
I'll have the posture of a fucking Swedish supermodel, and I got the composure of fucking Harry Kane. While I'm also filming videos going round my phone like that.
Henry at 3 p.m. as he's trying to get into the second bar on our pub crawl.
Oh my god, dude, that party was so... Oh, I almost just kicked that rock. I'm not gonna fall.
That is going to be you, mate. That is going to be you.
Johnny would be the first one to crash out.
Johnny doesn't really drink that much, mate. And he's not going to have his arm twisted like rubber arm right over there.
Rubber arm right. Oh, here we go.
Okay, Sean, I'll have another one. Okay, stop. Don't ask me again. I'll just do whatever you say.
There you go. Look, just quickly.
What we got here? What you done?
Share that.
James Madison will miss the rest of the season and could face up to 3 months on the sidelines.
Oh, well, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway.
Look at the comment below. Have you started to wonder, O'Keefe, if your source was deliberately given inaccurate information to try and flush out the mole? E.g., a person told James Madison out for 1 month, person B 2 months, and your source was told 3 months will be caught out. I don't know who said what, but will be between 2 to 3 months. He's getting called out.
Are you the mole? Surely a mole is a person who informs the club, not a person who informs people out. People on here. I'm definitely doing a vlog.
A match day vlog?
Yeah, 1,000,000%, mate.
I did a match day vlog of the Bodo game, and it got like 300 views. I think this one will get this if it's me and you. If it's made like the first 8 minutes of the video is me and you knocking back Skol Lager or whatever, vodka or whatever, Goldschlager, whatever it's called. I think you'll, yeah. People are going to watch it. People are going to watch it. I'm going to get a zoomed in. I'm going to get Johnny to zoom in close up of Henry going, "Hold my hair." A little tactical chat at fucking 11 a.m. We know what's going on,
mate. My plan is to wake up, well, do some content tonight on a specific Champions League game that's happening later. Go to sleep. 3:30 in the morning, 2 double espressos. So I'm like jacked up to the gills in caffeine. Like
what time are you going to bed tonight?
Straight after the Arsenal game, probably. Do a couple of videos on that, a couple of TikToks on that, post them out. Wait, go to bed, 4 or 5 hours kip, 2 double espressos. So I'm jacked up to the gills like prime Ozzy Osbourne, right? Drive straight to Luton with whatever music playing. Park up.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I got in a. Someone said, "Oh, Sean and Henry 13-hour road trip together will be fun." I was like, A, we're not doing it that way, but B, the idea of spending 13 hours in a car if Henry was driving with his playlist.
Unreal, mate. Absolutely unreal.
Like, well,
a bit of EDM, fucking smoke detectors, glow sticks going off. Then Metallica come out, fucking Sean will be just pouring the drinks, couple of tear asses in the back. Denisa and Svetlana dropping them off every 100 meters, picking a new one up. Get to the Arctic Circle, have a fight with a couple of polar bears, go get the win, and then go and eat some tapas in northern Spain.
Nice. Love it.
Henry, are you going with Arsenal cheated or Arsenal robbed? Depends what happens in the game, mate. I want to see a vlog with Sean and Henry staggering down some random Norwegian street at midnight, drinking fermented moose
milk from giant horns.
It's either going to be that or moonshine, whatever they're going to serve us out there.
I'm going to get myself a fucking giant horn. If they sell those things in the airport, some sort of like fucking massive horn with a plastic handle on it, I am 100% coming home with a horn. I'm going to be going there with the horn as well, to be honest. Well, have you seen those fucking birds, mate? They are rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's going to be sensational. How's the missus, by the way? Is she okay with you going yet? Have you she got over it?
Yeah, I told her I had an away day that I was going up north. And then she went, "Oh, where you going? Newcastle, Manchester, Liverpool?" I went, "It's a little bit north of that." She went, "You going to Scotland?" I went, "A little bit north of that. Oh, I'm going to Norway." She was like, "All right, have fun."
Oh, nice. She took it well.
Doesn't bat an eyelid, anything. So,
mate, I'm looking fucking go. I might just go and see Santa Claus. I've got a fucking bone to pick with him for my last season's haul. To be honest, he's Chris. I was on the naughty step apparently. Don't know what's going on. Fucking lump of black coal, cheeky prick. The amount of letters that I sent him. I've been keeping the post office open with the fucking amount of stamps I've had to buy to get him to listen to my request for a new microphone.
So when we land at Bodo tomorrow, it's going to be 7 degrees and the temperature's going to feel like 5.
What are you wearing then?
You're going to have to wear a big coat in you. But the only problem is you don't want to wear a big coat and you're sweating on the plane. Like, and there's going to be nowhere to... Everyone's going to be fighting like pigeons over a bit of bread for the flipping overhead room. You know, you're going to end up having to fucking lay someone out on the bloody aisle of the flight just to put your bag up there. So,
yeah. Johnny's got his usual, like, he wears it most of the time throughout the season. I don't know, this guy doesn't feel the cold for a skinny man, but he's got that blue jacket that's got like a puffer piece, like one of those like kind of puffer jacket type things, but tightly knit. I think I'm going to have to bring out the old the 3/4 length, like Arsene Wenger-esque type jacket that I've got.
Yeah, mate, like the trench coat or something.
Yeah. Well, it's still puffer, you know. Anyway, mate, we'll leave it there, buddy. It's been going 2 hours. Really appreciate you coming on. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
2-1 Bodo when we go through. 4-2.
That's the other bet that I've had, by the way. Well, I didn't get 8-1, but I got 13-2, which is shit. 6.5-1 on the outcome. But I got 9-1 on Bodo to win 2-1.
Would you whack on it?
30 quid. Not a lot.
That's right.
Enough to pay for an hour, if you know what I mean.
A lot of copy.
Listen, love. I haven't got any cash on me. Couldn't get a decent rate of krona.
Can you take this bet slip for William Hill in the UK, though?
You take this back, right? And then when you come home with me, we'll go straight down the local William Hill and we'll make you right, okay? We'll make you right. Now, if that's all agreeable, then let's put on the sauna heat, shall we? Anyway, we'll leave it there. And wish you all a wonderful Wednesday. I'll see you. If there's anything that breaks, I'll put out a video this afternoon, but I doubt it. You'll see me this evening on Dave's channel on Jabe and Jacko's The Irish Hotspur. And apart from that, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for as many updates as we can. We get in videos of Henry pre, during, and post his tactical vomits. And as I say, the betting market is still open. I think most people went with Henry will be passed out before 3 p.m.
No chance. I'm going to be standing up tall like Andre the Giant, mate.
He died young as well, to be honest. So, you know.
He died from alcohol poisoning or whatever it was that killed him. He still holds the record for the most beers consumed in like one sitting.
Yeah, but he's grabbing a bottle and it just looked like a little bottle of Tabasco
or something like that. 106 beers in one sitting.
Fucking madness. All right, cheers, everybody.
Fill a bath up with that.
You couldn't fill a bath up for him.
Oh no. Yes,
I reckon you could turn the tap on for like 30 seconds, then turn it off, and then when he gets in the bath, because he just occupies all the space, there's still water up to his nipples.
Yeah, he has to use a fucking skip for a bathtub, mate.
All right, guys, like, subscribe, and comment. Get over to Henry Talks Football as well. Link will be in the title and the description straight after this. We'll see you on the other side, guys. Come on, you Spurs, and smash the likes and subscribe. Take it easy. Ciao. Bye bye.